Let's look at a financial model for an online marketplace. So something like eBay. We've got people selling stuff and people buying stuff, basically, all consumers. Or perhaps the people selling stuff are businesses as well as consumers. So let's start a forecast and let's go to online marketplace and let's look at the quirks of an online marketplace in modeling that make it a bit different. So we'll go for a 5-year model and currency is pounds. Cool. Okay, so we've got our 5 years here. So what we're looking at is transaction volume. So there's lots of different ways you can think about how to model a business, and the main variation is to do with how you do revenue. So we're going to look at number of transactions and the average order value. So let's say at the start, to keep it nice and simple, we launch and we do 20 transactions a month. That's at the very start. So on launch, we let's say 30, so it's one a day. So one a day, we've gone out to family and friends, we've done a big social media launch, and a load of people have listed stuff, and we're doing one thing a day. And the average order value is £50. People are just selling relatively small stuff. At the end of year one, we've grown it to, let's say we're doing 20 transactions a day. What would that be? 600. Cool. Still, the average order value is 50. We have found our niche in the £50 price point. I don't know if this will change or not. Did eBay change? As the platform gets more trusted by people, do they start to sell more expensive stuff? Maybe, that would kind of make sense. So perhaps we'll factor that in. Let's double for end of year 2. Let's not just keep on doubling. Let's assume that we then take on some investment, which we'll plan later, and we really start pumping marketing. We've done 2 years. We've shown this idea works. So let's 7x or something. Let's go up to like 8,000 transactions a month. And let's say people now trust it. They start selling some more chunky stuff, 75 quid. And we're going to keep going up quite a lot. So we'll go 25,000, and we're going to keep just gently tipping that side up. And then let's finish on 50,000. So slightly less growth there, but still taking us to a really decent number. And we'll gently tip up to 85. We take 5% commission, and cost of sales. This would be, if we're running the transactions, then will be costs associated with that using Stripe fees or something. 2%, it's probably about right. Yeah. And we take our 5%. So 7% that adds up to total. So we get a little preview of how this looks. Okay, so I can see relative to where we get to 1.8 million revenue, our 10 grand in year one doesn't fare up so well, but it comes back. So and we're in profit, really nicely in profit, getting over £1 million in. Obviously, the number of transactions being held will be a far higher number. We're just taking our 5% of the transactions. Cool. So we won't do VAT. No, I think that'd be really complicated with the marketplace right now. We could do it in the future. Start in the future. We're building the platform at the moment. We're going to go live let's go a bit longer. It's going to take us 6 months to build the platform. End of financial year, March. So we're going to need a decent team. Start on low salaries because we're the founders and we're going to own some equity. But once we start making money, we want to increase. So me and the CTO, or the CEO and the CTO, it's normally the CEO who's the one doing this sort of thing. And let's plan a couple of other employees. We're definitely going to need a marketing manager, but they are not going to start until December this year, when we're 6 months post-launch. They are going to start on a decent salary because they're not going to be one of the founders. And let's add a couple more people. Customer support, probably. Again, let's start them a little bit later on. Let's start them in February next year and on 35 grand. Perfect. And let's add one more, probably someone to support the CTO, and let's get them. Maybe we'll get them now, actually. We'll get them early. They can help with the development build. Some of the development can be done, and 55 grand is probably about right. So, office rent, we'll do an office, and yes, we're probably going to spend at least this. I think we'll start on 1,000 quid a month, which is 12 grand, but we're going to massively ramp this up. We're going to increase that by 25%. In fact, if we're growing, we probably want to increase that by 50% a year. Subscriptions, again, they're going to increase a lot. Start low. Insurance, maybe that will increase actually, because we might be insuring some of the stuff done on our platform. Probably need a couple of others. We're going to need, telephone and internet, yep. We're going to need office supplies, yep. And I'm just thinking, let's do legal and accounting. And that will be 500 quid a month, 6 grand. And we're going to start that from the start. Cool. So, yeah, great. Capital expenditure, yes, big software outlay. We're going to spend 75 grand on this. The CTO is going to manage it. It's going to be done externally, and then he'll manage it in-house, perhaps with the external agency, but he's got that engineer that we've set up, and this is going to be spent now, actually. Cool. And so we started with 150 grand family and friends. Let's say we got that a while ago. We got that in December. We're going to need to top it up with 200 grand Series A, which we're going to use to fund our marketing growth. And that is going to be in, let's say, in 18 months' time, a year after launch. Yeah. So we launch in June, and then in July of 2027. So after 13 months, we raise 200 grand off the back of our success. So 350 grand total. And maybe that's actually 250. We'll have to see the numbers to see what we required. No loans. Cool. Let's see what kind of forecast this generates. Cool. Okay. Nice. Yeah, we can see the number of transactions goes sky high. So like in year 5, 36 million quid's worth of transactions being done, which is pretty cool. We're getting 1.8 million revenue. We don't need the financial advisor right now. Cool. 1 million transactions over the period, which is pretty cool. 54 million over the total life of the model, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we make 2.7 million over the whole life. So if we think about the 5-year model, I think we said we were going to raise 250 plus 100 or 150. So that's about 400 grand raised, and we're going to make 2.7 million quid's worth of revenue. Just look each year. Okay, so yeah, not a lot happening in year 1, but the profit really starts to come in. So we're at a £1 million profit in year 5, which is good. Cash flow really spikes. Only 5 employees. Is it realistic that we'd be doing this sort of revenue and these sorts of numbers with only 5 employees? Probably not. I'd probably go back and add a few more. Break even from the start. That's very good. Let's dive into it a bit more. Let's go. This is our annual cash flow, but let's look at our monthly. Okay, cool. So we really do bounce along the bottom for a long time before we really spike up. Let's see share capital. Let's see, we should see that inflow. Where is that? Not seeing, oh no, not seeing that. I was missing that there. Okay, let's check out our profit and loss. And let's again look monthly and see how this looks. Okay, so we're doing a 60% gross margin. Yeah, that all looks good. Okay, nice. So this is just a really nice basic way to look at how the numbers behind an online marketplace could work. What I'd probably do is I'd save this, call it scenario 1 or something like that, and then do a few more versions and play with a few different ideas to see how different things impact it. You know, can we get away without raising any money? What happens if we build a tech team ourselves rather than hiring externally? Keep playing with different scenarios, build up a plan, because you're better going into a business with a plan, even if you're going to change it, than not having a plan at all. So if you're interested in building an online marketplace, give this a go on Futures AI, and let me know how you get on.